Hey y'all, today we are going to look at what you're going to do on day 2 of your state testing. You're going to have, it's called a PBA, which is basically a lot of questions based on one item, one table or graph or one set of information, something like that. And you're going to have like 8 questions about it. You're either going to solve 2 or 3 of these on the second day of state testing. So we're going to show you what they're going to look like. You had one of these on the item sampler. We reviewed that. But this is another one just to give you another example for that. So we're going to use all the information provided right here to answer numbers 1 through 8. So it says, Gary, the technology coordinator of a high school, is planning to purchase one memory stick for each of the teachers. There are 86 teachers at the school. The English teachers requested memory sticks to have a capacity of 32 gigabytes, and Gary determines that $600 is the maximum amount he can spend on all of the memory sticks. Gary finds the following prices for the purchases from Computer City. So we have option A for the 16 gigabytes. Those are going to cost $5.99 each. And then the 32 gigabytes are going to cost $9.99 each. And then we get free shipping if we order more than $35. So every question we have, all of the next 8 questions are going to be based off of this information. So if A represents the number of 16 gigabyte memory sticks and B represents the number of 32 gigabyte memory sticks, which equation represents the number of each kind of memory stick that should be purchased? So A is the 16 gigabytes, B is the 32 gigabytes, so we need to represent an equation for the number of memory sticks that they can purchase. Well, we know that they have 86 teachers, so they need to purchase memory sticks for 86 people. So we want to make sure it's equal to 86. So that's going to eliminate A and B because those aren't equal to the same thing. And then 86 is the number of memory sticks that we need. The number of memory sticks. So all you're allowed to put in this equation are memory sticks. That is it. You can't put money in there. You can't put gigabytes in there. You can't put anything else but memory sticks. So how many 16 gigabyte memory sticks are we getting? We have no idea. That's what we're trying to solve. So I'm just going to put A for that. How many 32 gigabyte memory sticks are we getting? I have no idea, and we labeled that one as B. And that is all we're going to put. Your other answer choice has 16 and 32 in it. But again, 16 and 32, those are the gigabytes. I can't take gigabytes plus gigabytes and equal memory sticks. It has to be memory sticks plus memory sticks equals memory sticks. Whatever's in your equation has to equal the total. So it's got to be A. Okay, number 2, use an A to represent the 16 gigabyte memory sticks and B to represent the 32 gigabyte memory sticks. Which inequality represents the constraint on the number of memory sticks that can be purchased based on the amount of money available for purchasing the memory sticks? So this one's an inequality based on the money. How much money did he have? He said 600 is his maximum amount. That is it. He can't spend more than 600. So what inequality would that be? Well, if 600 is your maximum, you can't go above that. You have to be less than that. So it has to be less than. However, he can spend $600. That is his budget. If he wants to spend every last penny of that, he can. So it can be equal to as well. Okay, and then what are we going to put in the equation? So we have 16 and 32, and we have $5.99 and $9.99. Remember, 600 is our money. This is a money inequality. So all we're allowed to put in here is money. That is it. So how much money did it cost for a 16 gigabyte memory stick? Well, if we go back to that table on the front page, those were $5.99. And 32 gigabytes were $9.99. So we can put those with the appropriate letter. $5.99 for 16, which is A, and $9.99 for 32 gigabytes, which is B. So that is going to match C. Okay, number 3. Gary buys only one memory stick for each teacher. He buys 10 32 gigabyte memory sticks. Select the boxes in the table to indicate whether the domain value for A, the number of 16 gigabyte memory sticks, are reasonable or unreasonable. So they're giving us the A value. We want to know if he can, they're giving us 10 for the B value, the 32 gigabytes. We want to know which one of these A's is possible for him to get. So if we use that equation that we made on the front page, we know he can only get 86 because he's got 86 teachers. So can he buy 73 16 gigabytes if we already have 10 32 gigabytes? So if I plug this in, A is 73, my 32 gigabytes, that's B. So I'm going to add that 10. And is it possible for him to buy that many and still not go over his amount, not go over the number of teachers he has? So 73 plus 10 is 83. So he didn't reach every teacher, but he didn't go over his max. So this is a reasonable amount. Looking at the second one, they're telling us A is 76. Our B is still 10. So if we add that up, is he going to have enough to get all of those memory sticks, or is he going to go over? So 76 plus 10 is 86. So on this one, he reaches every single teacher. So that is reasonable. For the third one, A is 83, so if I plug that in for A, B is still 10. So 83 plus 10, that is 93. So he went over what he was allowed to get. He only needed 86. He went well over that. So this one is unreasonable. So if he goes over his 86 teachers, he's probably going to go over his $600 maximum that he has. And you can always plug it in and test that out. So this one doesn't work. And then the last one, 86 for the 16 gigabytes. And we still have 10 32 gigabytes. 86. So if we add that up, we're going to get 96. So again, he went over what he needed. He only needed 86. He can't go over his maximum. So that one is unreasonable as well. So he's either got to get his max, or he might be a little bit short because he might run out of money. So that one's fine as well. Number 4. Gary wants to stay within the allowed budget of $600 and only buy one memory stick for each teacher. So he can't get, no teacher is going to get like 2, and he has to stay within his budget. Given different numbers of 32 gigabyte memory sticks, Gary will need to determine if he can purchase enough of the 16 gigabyte memory sticks for the remaining teachers. Select yes or no for each number of 32 gigabyte memory sticks to indicate whether Gary can purchase that number of 32 gigabyte memory sticks and have enough money remaining to purchase memory sticks for the remaining teachers. So they're giving us 32 gigabyte memory sticks. So this is my B value. I want to know if he can purchase enough for the remaining 16 gigabyte memory sticks. If I'm looking at will he have enough money remaining to purchase those, I need to look at that $600, which means I'm going with the equation we did in number 2. The 599 A plus 999 B was less than or equal to 600, because remember his budget was only $600, so we can't go over that. So then I'm just going to plug them in again. They're giving me the B values. We're actually going to have to find the A's. They didn't tell us up here what the A's were. So we're going to have to find the A's. But if they gave us 32 gigabytes, how many 16 gigabytes do we need? Well, remember that other equation we had. A plus B is 86. If I'm given 20 B's, then I can solve that for A. If I subtract my 20, I'm going to have 66. So that's what my A is going to be. So if I plug this into my equation, A is 66, and then B was that 20 it gave me. And let's see if this one is true. So I'm going to go to my calculator. 599 times your 66 plus 999 times our 20, and we're going to get 595.14. Oops, put that wrong. 1 second. Is 599.14 less than or equal to 600? Yes, so this would work. He would have enough money to buy all of those memory sticks. So that is a yes. Okay, what if B is 22? Sorry, 21. So I gotta find the leftover A because we don't have A. So I'm gonna do A plus 21 is 86. Subtract my 21 over, and A is 65. So then I can plug in 65 and 21. So 599 times 65 plus that 999 for the 32 gigabytes, which we have 21 of those, is less than or equal to 600. And then I can put it into my calculator. Now remember from our calculator video, if you just go up to that equation and highlight it, hit enter, you can bring it back down and just change those numbers in parentheses. So I want 65 and 21. So I don't have to type the entire thing in again. And that gives me 599.14. Is that less than or equal to 600? Yes, which means he has enough money for those as well. Okay, number 22. That's our B value. So again, we need to find that A value. So I'm going to subtract the 22 out, and that'll give me 64. And then I can plug in 64 and 22. So 599 times 64 plus 999 times 22 is less than or equal to 600. And I'm going to go up and highlight my previous equation and hit enter. So I can just change those to 22 and 64. And I'm going to get 603.14. Is that less than or equal to 600? No, he went over his budget, so he doesn't have enough money to get 64 16 gigabyte memory sticks and 22 32 gigabyte memory sticks. So let's try 25. So I need to find my A value. So I'm going to subtract that 25 out, which will give me 61. And then I can plug in 61 and 25. See if that's less than or equal to 600. So again, I'm going to go up and highlight my previous equation and change those to 61 and 25. And I get 615.14. Is $615.14 less than or equal to 600? No. That is more, so this is not an amount he could get either. Okay, let's try number 5. So Gary finds prices from another supplier, Tech Guys, and the prices for the 16 gigabyte memory sticks are displayed on the graph. So they didn't give us the actual prices, they just gave us a graph this time. And they gave us some points to look at, so we can use those. So let's see what it asks for. Select true or false for each statement about the graph. If n is equal to 100, then $5 is the cost of each memory stick. So what is this asking for? There's keywords you need to know. For slope, you have keywords that tell you you're looking at slope. You have per, each, and every. Those are the 3 basic words you'll see for slope. If you see those, we know it is asking for slope. So because it says the cost of each memory stick, this is asking for our slope. So we need to find the slope of the line where n is 100. So if I follow this, n is my x-axis. So I'm going to go to 100 right here. I'm going to follow it up. And it hits 2 different lines. Now I can't have slope for 2 different lines for one problem. So which one do I use? I'm going to use the solid line. The dotted or the open circle, that one is not equal to. The solid circle is equal to, which means our graph is equal to 100 on this last line up here. So that's the line we want to use. So we're looking for slope. So we can find slope in our calculator or we can work it out by hand. I'm going to do it in the calculator because I showed y'all how to do this in the last calculator video that we did. So I'm going to make a table out of this. Put my smallest one first. And then my larger point. And we can plug this into stat and get our slope. So if I go to stat, edit, I can plug those points in. 100, 120, 500, and 600. You only get slope from a linear equation, so we want to do stat, go over to calc, and we want a linear regression, so ax plus b. So number 4. Enter through all of this, and your slope is always the one that hits on x. So that a is connected to x, so our slope is 5. So our cost for each memory stick is $5. So is this true? Yes. So that is true. What about the second one? If n is greater than 100, is $5 the cost of each memory stick? Again, it says each, so I know I'm looking for slope. And where is it greater than 100? So we just found 100, so we want everything greater than that, which is still going to be this line. That's the only line that's greater than 100. So that doesn't change your slope. Your slope is still 5. So is this one true? When n is greater than 100, is the slope 5 for the cost of each memory stick? Yes. That is true. Okay, the third one. If n is between 50 and 100, is 550 the cost of each memory stick? So each, again, is telling me look at my slope. So between 50 and 100. So I'm going to go back up to my graph. I'm going to go to 50 and 100. And again, you want to look for the line that's between 50 and 100, where it's equal to. So that's going to be this line right here. So they gave me my 2 points for that. I'm going to make my table from least to greatest. So 50, 275, and 70, 385. And I can plug that into stat. So I'm going to clear these, go up, highlight L2, clear, enter, highlight L1, clear, enter, and plug in my table. And then I can, again, do stat over number 4, enter through all that. And my slope this time is 5.5. I'm going to write that on here so I don't forget. So $5.50. So is this true? Is between 50 and 100, is the slope $5.50 for the cost of each memory stick? Yes and no. There is a reason this one is false. And it has nothing to do with the slope. The slope was right. It is $5.50. However, if we look at that 50 to 100, 50 is less than and 100 is less than or equal to. But what did my graph have? My graph had a closed circle on 50. That should be less than or equal to. And then on 100, it was open. So that's just less than. So your inequality should have said 50 less than or equal to n less than 100. So because those inequalities are backward, it actually makes this one false. So it's not just the slope you have to look at, it's the inequalities as well. So for the bottom one, 0 is less than or equal to n less than or equal to 50. So if we're looking between 0 and 50, then 7 is the cost of each memory stick. So if I go between 0, which is right here, and that 50, we need to find the slope of this line. They only gave us 1 point though. They only gave us 2140. However, they did give us another point. This one down here, everyone knows that point. That is 0, 0. They don't label 0, 0. They expect you to know this one. So we can make our table with 0, 0. And then we can plug it into stat. So I'm going to clear this and then plug in my new table. Oops. That's 20, and then 0, 140. And then stat over 4, enter through that, and our slope is 7. So that was true. Our slope is $7. So this is true, correct? No, because again, if we look at that inequality, 0 is equal to and 50 is equal to. But what was our graph? Our graph, 0 was closed, so that's equal to. But 50 was open, so that should be less than. So that means this one is false. If they get 50 memory sticks, it's not going to fall on this first line because that one's open. It's actually going to jump down to the second line. So they're actually going to have to pay less. They're going to get a little bit of a discount. So it should have been true, true, false, false. So don't just look at the slope. Look at your inequalities, the other stuff it gives you as well. Okay, number 6. Gary notices that Computer City offers free shipping, but that Tech Guys charges for shipping. So the first people we had, they offered free shipping, but these people don't. The new people. So we have their graph, same graph as before. The amount spent, so depending on how much they spend, they're going to have a different shipping cost. So the less they spend, the less shipping. The more they spend, the more shipping. So it says Gary buys 18 32 gigabyte memory sticks. So we got 18 of those from Computer City. Within his budget of $600, he plans to purchase as many 16 gigabyte memory sticks from Tech Guys as possible. So as many 16 as we can get. Use the values to complete an inequality that can be used to determine the maximum number of memory sticks that can be purchased from Tech Guys. So, first things first, what we noticed is we're getting 18 of those 32 gigabyte memory sticks. And we have to stay within that $600 budget. Those 32 gigabyte memory sticks, if you remember from the front page, were $9.99. So if he spends $9.99 on 18 of those, what do we get? How much money has he spent? So I'm going to do 18 times $9.99. And he has spent $179.82. So how much does he have left to buy 16 gigabyte memory sticks? Well, he has a budget of $600. If he already spent $179.82, we can figure out what that's going to be by just subtracting. So 600 minus what he just spent, and he has 420 and 18 cents left. So that actually gives us our first value that we need. So that's our total. So our total is not 600 that we can purchase at Tech Guys because he already spent some money at Computer City. Our total he can purchase from this place is $420.18. So that's going to be this third option for your total. We just need to figure out what the slope is going to be. So real quick, it didn't ask for 18, but where does this 18 come from? This 18 is what is being added to your equation for shipping. For shipping, we're going to look at this little table right here. So if I'm looking at that table, I need to, we know the shipping cost is $18, but why? Why is it $18? It's because the amount we're going to spend at Tech Guys is $420. That $420 is going to fall right here between $200 and $499. That's why they're getting charged $18. So the problem you may get on the state test may not ask you for the slope. It may ask you for the shipping. So that's going to come from how much money you're spending at Tech Guys. So you have to figure out where it falls in the table. For the slope, though, we're going to go back to that that graph up here. This is the same graph we had before, so we know the slope here was 7, the middle line was 550, and the top line was 5. So which one do we use here? Well, we know he already bought 18 memory sticks. So how many more does he need? He can only get 86. We know that from the previous problems. He just bought 18. Write that over here. And we know our equation was A plus B is 86. So if he bought 18 32 gigabyte sticks, how many can he buy from Tech Guys? If we subtract that 18 over, so you can do your 86 minus 18, we're going to get 68. So we want to look for 68 on our table to know what slope we're going to pick. So we got between 50 and 70, 68 is going to be closer to 70. So it's going to fall on that middle line. So our slope is 550. So the second choice. Okay, number 7. Gary checks the prices of a third store, Computers Now. He buys 18 32 gigabyte memory sticks from Computer City And within his budget of $600, he plans to buy as many 16 memory gigabyte sticks from Computer Now as possible. So he writes this equation. F of n equals 5.25n plus 20, where n is the number of 16 gigabyte memory sticks, and F of n is the amount of money available to spend at Computers Now. And he needs to determine, he uses that equation to determine the cost of purchasing the remaining 16 gigabyte memory sticks from Computers Now. So what does 525 represent in this equation? Select all that apply, which means there's going to be more than one. There may be two, there may be three, there may be four, but it's definitely going to be more than one. So we have a linear equation here that's just in the form y equals mx plus b. So what comes before the variable? Well, the number before the variable is always your slope. That's your m. So would the slope be the x-intercept? No. Those are not related at all. Would the slope be the y-intercept? No. The y-intercept is at the end of the equation. That's the b. Would the slope be the shipping cost? Remember on the last problem, we talked about that shipping cost being what was added to the equation. That is your initial. You got to pay for shipping just to get it to be shipped out to you. So no, the shipping cost, that's your initial value. So that's not your slope. Is it the cost per memory stick? Yes. Remember I told you for slope, look for those special words, per, each, and every. Those are going to be your slope words. So when we see per right here, I know I'm talking about slope. So that is a choice. But remember it said select all that apply. So is it also the rate of change in the graph? Well, what is rate of change? Rate of change is just another way of saying slope. Your rise over your run in the graph. So that is also true. So D and E. And last, number 8, Gary buys 32 gigabyte memory sticks from Computer City. Within his budget of $600, he plans to purchase as many 16 gigabyte memory sticks as possible. He has the same equation, F of n equals 5.25n plus 20. N is still your 16 gigabyte memory sticks, and F of n is still the amount of money available to spend at Computers Now. And he's still using that equation to determine the cost of purchasing the remaining 16 gigabyte memory sticks. So same information we had before. This time we want to know what description does 20 represent in his function. Select all that apply. So we're going to have more than one. So remember 525, that was your slope. What was the last number in y equals mx plus b? That b, that is your y-intercept. That's your initial value. So that's what 20 is. So is it the x-intercept? Nope. Is it the y-intercept? Yes, that's what your last value in y equals mx plus b is. But it says select all that apply, so we have another one, at least one more. Is it the shipping cost? Yes, we talked about that before. Your shipping cost is how much you have to pay just for them to ship it to you before you even buy the item. So you have to pay that shipping cost if you want to buy the item. Is it the cost per memory stick? No, remember per is a slope word, so that is slope. And then remember rate of change also means your slope, your rise over run. So that one's not it either. So it's just B and C. So these are the kind of questions you're going to see on day 2 of your state test. It's all based off of one problem, but you're going to have about 8 questions on it. And you're going to answer 2 to 3 of these type of questions. So remember to come back and watch this as many times as you need to. Ask your teacher questions if you need to, but get as prepared as possible for day 2 of your state test.